Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. Delighted as always to be joined by Niall O'Connell. Niall, it's hard to break down what we've just seen. Uh, Madness, fight of the year contender, shock upset. Um, it's a strange one to unpack. And we're only gonna do it in 8 minutes or so. But we'll have to get together another time and discuss it again. What's going through your mind right now? Ryan Garcia has beaten Devin Haney on points. In a fight he was a big underdog for. We've all seen what's happened in the last 2 or 3 days. We've all seen his tweets. It's crazy. It's a crazy, crazy fight, and it's gonna be hard to get a more entertaining fight than that this year. I think that's going to be a big achievement. What did you make of it all?
Yeah, it's going to be hard to kind of put this into words for for this reaction, but that it's one of the craziest things I think I've ever seen in boxing. Really, when you take into account the build up and the upset, you put everything together. Like nobody expected, nobody knew what to expect in this fight in terms of Garcia's mental state and what he might do in the fight. But I think one thing that I was certain of, and a lot of people were certain of, is that he wasn't going to win the fight one way or the other. No matter what version turned up, I was always of the opinion that even the best version of Ryan Garcia gets beat by Devin Haney. But it just feels disrespectful now that, but nobody expected him to win. No matter what happened, I don't think anyone expected him to really win that fight. But hats off to him. He won. It was a crazy fight, but yeah, he pulled it out of the bag. I don't know what else to say. It was just one of the craziest things I've seen in boxing, as I say.
Yeah, look, is we will be looking back on this fight in 10, 20 years. We really will be. And it's one of those where sometimes you regret staying up until the early hours, and then sometimes you don't because it's such a fantastic fight. I've got a couple of questions, Niall. Ryan Garcia, what's going on? Because like obviously he's tweeting some crazy things. He's acting bizarrely at events. Do you think he is genuinely suffering with problems? Or do you think he is trolling? Do you think it's mind games? I know it's a tricky question. It's a bit of a fragile question, but we have just seen him beat Devin Haney. So I refuse to believe that you've been, drinking and smoking weed in camp and then beating Devin Haney. You've got to be pretty talented to do that. What do you make of all of his kind of personality the last few days, last few months, considering what he's just done?
It is a really tricky question to answer when you're approaching this subject. It's so weird because I'm undecided. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he is suffering, if that makes sense. I hope he's not kind of doing this to troll and sell a fight because it makes a mockery of people that actually are suffering. And I'm glad that he didn't do anything crazy in there. That would have just kind of proved that he was really suffering with something. So to give him the benefit of the doubt, I will say that he does have problems that he will need to sort out because if he was trolling, it's a weird way to kind of to go about trolling or selling a fight. So, I, although he won and he didn't do anything crazy, thank God. Hopefully, he can get whatever problems he has sorted out now. But it's a hard one to answer. As I say, I will say, yeah, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say he is suffering with something, and
Yeah,
please God he gets help. But it's mental to say that after he's just beat Devin Haney.
yeah,
He didn't get disqualified or he didn't get stopped. He's won, and we're still having this conversation. So it's
mm,
really a strange situation.
it is. And I just think his kind of mental health is more important than
Yeah.
whether he won the fight or not, or what happened in the fight. I
Mm.
worry now that he's now kind of really in the limelight. And he's going to kind of get a lot of attention. You're going to have a lot of people who are going to want to jump on the bandwagon and be his friend. And I worry if that could harm his situation more. Um, Moving on. Uh, we shouldn't forget that Ryan Garcia did weigh 3 pounds heavier over the weight limit for this fight. He hasn't. He is not a. He's the crazy thing about Ryan Garcia. He has never actually been a world champion, which I find really bizarre
Mm.
when you consider how good he is. Did how much of an effect do you think that made, Niall? Those extra 3 pounds. If you consider Garcia knocked Haney down 3 times, what do you think?
When they first got into the ring tonight, the first thing I said was I'd love to see what both of them weigh because Garcia looked really big.
Yeah,
That's the first thing I thought. He looked so thick and well built. I'd love to see what they weighed even today or when they got into the ring. I haven't seen it yet. 5-day weights, they're normally circulating on Twitter somewhere, but I haven't seen it. Maybe they'll come out tomorrow, but Garcia looked really big, and I hope that there wasn't too much of a discrepancy between the two. But if we see a picture or get a tweet out that shows a big kind of gaining in weight for Garcia, who already missed weight, it will have played a part. So I suppose my answer to that question will have to kind of wait until we see what he
yeah,
did weigh in the ring. But he is a big puncher, at lightweight or 140. He's always been a big puncher. And Devin Haney has been clipped before and hurt, so it's not a huge surprise that he did clip him and hurt him. Obviously, it's a big surprise how it turned out, but Garcia did look big in there. So yeah, I'm fascinated to see what he actually weighed in the ring.
mm,
He looked like a junior middleweight, really, to be honest
yeah.
with you.
Look massive. It's late, so I'm going to ask you two more questions now. Then I'm going to let you go. Scorecards: 112, 112, 114, 110, 115, 109. Considering Garcia scored three knockdowns, got a point taken off. I think it was round seven. Got a point taken off. Um, Interested to get your view on those. I personally, I it was a tricky fight to score when you're trying to enjoy it as well. But I think that 115, scorecard is a bit wide to me. I'll be interested to kind of actually see them printed out. But yeah, give us your thoughts as well on those scorecards and how you scored it as well.
I totally agree. Quite bizarre scorecards, we mentioned that before we jumped on here. Even the scorecards were bizarre, followed such a bizarre fight. The scorecards were crazy. And like you, I'd love to see the breakdown of that because it doesn't make sense to me seeing them like that. The deserved winner was announced. I think most people will agree, but like you, I'd love to see the breakdown of what rounds they gave to Garcia there because it was just really strange. I had a 113, 112
Okay.
Garcia, and I think that kind of range was suitable. But yeah, 115, 109 makes no sense. It makes no sense to me. Devin Haney controlled the fight from rounds two to kind of six
Yeah.
before the knockdown at seven. And then he probably won a couple of rounds then after that still. But yeah, I want to see the breakdown of the cards.
And that was the crazy thing. Sorry to kind of go off topic here, but when Haney won those rounds 2 to 6, I don't know about you, but I was kind of thinking, oh well, this is just it. Then Haney's going to win on points, and he's going
Yeah.
to win every round now. That's what Devin Haney's very good at. He's in a rhythm, and it was yeah, the opposite. The opposite.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy fight. I've got final question for you now. It would be silly for me to ask you if you want to see the rematch because if you said no, I'd question if you were a boxing fan. But do you think we will see the rematch? I think there's a couple of things to consider here. It's like, what does Ryan Garcia do in terms of the problems he may have? Does Ryan Garcia commit to another fight at 140, 140 pounds? Does Devin Haney want to go straight into a rematch? Um, there's a few things here, but people will be mentioning that words. Do you think we will see a rematch next for both fighters?
I do, to be honest. I think there's no point in even really discussing other fights. I think it will be the rematch. And I think Ryan Garcia hopefully can get his head sorted out. And as you mentioned, hopefully this doesn't push him further kind of into the limelight and over the edge. I think Devin Haney would have no problem jump straight back into a rematch, and hopefully Ryan Garcia can make the weight this time, and we can get both of them competing for the now vacant WBC title. But yeah, I do think the rematch will be definitely next, and I can't answer who wins it after seeing that. I'm just too confused to
No.
give a prediction for a rematch.
No, I'm not going to ask any more horrible questions. I don't know who would win a rematch. I think to end, I think I want to see a rematch when Ryan Garcia actually makes weight. That's what I want. That's what I want to see. This is a there are weight categories for a reason. He did not come over weight by half a pound or a pound. It was three pounds and 2 ounces, I think. That's not fair.
Oh,
We need to see him come in at same weight as Devin Haney. So that's why I hope happens in the rematch if there is one. Noel, thank you for your time. Good luck sleeping after that one. We'll see. It's going to be tricky. Wide
yeah.
awake. Noel, thank you very much for your time, and I'll speak to you again soon.
Thanks a lot. Take care.